Laura A. Grace here, the author of Dear Author, Letters from a Bookish Fangirl, Teen Lines of Poetry Collection, and Finding God, an anime devotional for otakus, which is free on a variety of platforms. I'll leave a link down below in case if you'd like to check it out. Happy Friday, my friends! I'm so excited to be doing this video review because I literally finished this manga like right before filming this, and I just have to tell you all about it because I love it. It was part of it was a feature in one of my top 5 Wednesday videos. I think it was Outside of My Comfort Zone, and I am featuring that title because I know I mentioned that I was determined to read it in that video, or like in that video, I mentioned I was determined to read it, and I finally read it. I'm so excited. And that manga is, I'm going to read the title because it's really long, but that manga is, I was reincarnated as the villainess in an Otome game, but the boys love me anyway. Here it is. Look how pretty this cover is. It is absolutely stunning. I got this for Mother's Day, I believe this year, because I think it released this year. And it's just been sitting on my shelf, and I'm like, it's so beautiful. How could I just let it sit there? It's just, the spine's not super pretty, but the back's pretty nice too. But the front, look at it. Oh my goodness. I love this cover. It was definitely a cover by / manga recommendation. My friend Megan at the Bookish Raven on Instagram, she recommended this to me via Goodreads, I believe. And she's like, I know this sounds, I don't think she said reverse harem, but she was like, this is really, really sweet. Like, don't let the blurb make it sound like it's like a reverse harem and there's a lot of, I guess you'd say, more sexual shenanigans, which is not necessarily what I like to read. So I was a little nervous, but I trust Megan. Her recommendations have been spot on for when she has recommended stuff to me. So I got this, and like I said, I finally read it. But if you're not familiar with the book, it is, I had to make sure I got this right because I actually did not read the blurb before I started reading. I just knew that I wanted something happy, and this was like definitely super light and fluffy. Anyway, I was going to tell you the blurb. So our main girl here, Mistia Erin, she is born of a noble family. Her family is very wealthy. She's surrounded by classmates who love her. She has a great fiance. Everything seems absolutely perfect. But what she starts to realize as the story progresses, that this is her second life, and she's been born again, but she was born as the villainess in an Otome game, and she is supposed to basically die, I think, like in a month or after a month has passed. And so she wants to, of course, stop that. But even though she's the villainess, like, all these boys love her anyway. And so that is the premise of this manga. I feel that is the premise of the manga as a whole, not necessarily for this manga volume. I feel like this manga volume was sort of like an introduction, and in the note from I think it was the manga writer. Just kidding. It wasn't the manga writer. It was the actual original light novel writer. And then she mentions, though, that in this manga, or this volume, that was mainly about these two guys. But in the next volume, we're going to meet another main character. And then the school arc is going to begin because, she needs all of the targets, as they're called, I guess, to sort of be in the picture. So we met 2 of the 4 guys, I believe. Now, I want to say, this does have colored pages, but it's really interesting because when you get colored pages, I don't have a manga to give an example, but it's usually that glossy paper. This one is colored, but it's not glossy. It's an actual, page. It's thicker than the other pages. But look at this opening pages. Look how beautiful that art is. The characters, and I guess you would say all of the super cute guys. Again, I'm not into reverse harem at all, but so far it seems like we have one love interest, but again, it's just the beginning, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen. But the 2 guys that you do meet in this volume is you meet Raid, which I like him. He's actually the guy I'm shipping with the main girl. And then you also meet Eric, who has a really interesting backstory. His was probably the only one I didn't really like very much, just because I thought it was a little bit weird. And I say weird in the sense of I don't know why he's different than just why he's different, I guess. I didn't quite get his reasoning of why he was the way he was when our main girl actually meets him. And interesting with this is, so it opens up in modern day in high school, like when she's been reincarnated, she's in high school and you meet Eric then and Raid, and then you meet a teacher. But then it goes back 5 years prior. So majority of this manga takes place when our main girl is 10 years old, which was really, really interesting to me. I thought it would be sort of boring, and I was expecting, because of the blurb, I was expecting like that, okay, we're jumping right in to the romantic plots or subplots. I don't even know what you would call that, but you don't necessarily do that. So that was interesting. I wouldn't say it was a bad thing or anything like that, but it gives you definitely a backstory of her meeting the characters and you forming, let's say relationship. We're not forming a relationship, but you get to know the characters better. And so you sort of form, I guess, like a bond or something where you just get to actually know them. And I realized I talked about the guys, but I didn't even talk about the main character. But yes, Mistia here, and I hope I'm saying her name right. She is so sweet. She is so sweet. I was going to get this. Oh, you can't see her quite as well here because of the spine, but there she is right there. I loved her. I love her so much. Like, I've actually never played an Otome game, but I have played, I guess, what is like the American version of that. Like, I remember I was pretty hooked on that app called Choices. I avoided it for like the longest, but I kept getting ads for it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to download it. And it was totally addictive. It was totally addictive. I eventually had to like stop playing because I was like, I'm not doing the things that I need to do. But I think the Otome game is very similar to that. So that's the only experience I actually have. I feel this is a really great way to just introduce the Otome game genre. And since this was really low key on the romance thus far and just like the reverse harem aspect, I felt like, okay, this was good. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, it's extremely light and fluffy, and it was the perfect read, hands down, that I needed. And so since Mistia is so sweet and so kind, and I love how she's trying really hard to not be the villainess that she remembers in the Otome game. And I loved her backstory of like when she's finally getting her memories. I really, really liked just, you know, who she was before and how who she was before like affects who she is now. Like it just really all came together because she was a very chill person back then. And back then, she was a really chill person in her past life. And so we have another like really moving moment. And it's funny, usually I don't think about personality types of characters as like a writer in the writing community. Like that's a really big thing where like we use personality types to like see what our character is. I don't do that, but I know it's a big thing. So I know a little bit about it, and I'm an ISFJ, and I just had to wonder if our main girl was, because you get a bonus chapter from the parents' point of view, and I just loved it. I love seeing you, almost said spoilers, but you see things, you learn things in that chapter about her parents, and then you learn things about Mistia, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I was like, is she an ISFJ? Because she has such a caring heart where she's willing to put herself, like her life on the line, her happiness self on the line, to see other people happy and see them provided for and taken care of. And when you're meeting the other people, it almost seemed at first like a little bit extreme. Like, okay, everybody is like loving our main character. Like even her servants are extremely protective, and they're like, you know, don't leave the home, just stay here, because some things had happened anyway and they didn't want her to leave. And I'm just like, okay, this is a little bit much here. But then you see how she was when she was a little girl, and I just had a heart for her, and I was just like, I feel like this character is someone I can really, really relate to, which is a really great feeling, you know, when you're reading and you see yourself in the main character and you just relate to them a lot. Grant, I'm not reincarnated. No, I'm not a villainess in an Otome game or from an Otome game, but I just love her actions and how she was just willing to get out of her comfort zone to do whatever it was to keep the people around her safe. And so it was fun seeing like her remembering the original route for the Otome game, and then she's like, oh my goodness, I have to change this. And she even like one example is she like pitches a fit in front of her parents and in front of her fiance's family because she knew something was going to happen and this was the only way she could think of, even though like inside she was so embarrassed. And I was just like, oh my goodness. But you see inside of her head and you see what she's thinking and you're like, yes, like do whatever you got to do to change the route, to change the path. And speaking of fiance, right here, I liked him. It was funny because when you first meet him, like, I had a different idea or perception of him, but then it sort of gives you, like, I don't know if it was that same chapter or if it's a little bit later, but then you get inside of his head and see things from his perspective of when he meets her. And I was just like, I didn't know you were thinking this. Like, I really, really didn't. I was totally caught off guard by that. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't be shipping you with her at all. But then you see more and you learn more and you're like, oh, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. So I really liked him a lot. And I truly hope that everything works out and they can be together because I feel like because Mistia cares and she's wanting the best for him, and obviously she wants to stay alive and not die, and she realizes that if she dies and things unfold the way that they did in the game, that would cause harm for her servants and her parents. And she really doesn't want that either. Like, she's not just trying to protect herself, but she's trying to protect her family, which is another win. I really liked that a lot. So that was interesting, though, getting that backstory from him and seeing not backstory, but seeing things from his perspective. The other guy that we meet, Eric, he was interesting. I can't say much about him, but I think out of, like, if I had to choose a part that I liked the least, I think it was his part. Like I said, because I didn't understand why he did what he did. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't get why his mom went along with his actions. I don't know. I'm very curious to see if the manga is going to explore or if there's just really nothing there. But he does call our main girl mistress, and I was like, no. I'm like, you are 10 years old. You do not call her your mistress. So he's definitely not in the winning for me because he called her mistress. Like, no. And there's also more to that, I think, saying that actually, that you learned from Raid and his family, and the things there definitely, I feel like, influenced me to definitely be like even more no. So I don't know. She does say that he is the ladies' man, so we'll see what happens there. Now, I know I've mentioned that our main girl is super caring and she's just super kind, and she talks about her servant, Melo, and I loved Melo. In fact, they have a really funny, she's right here. They have a really funny friendship servant bond kind of thing. And I did think it interesting that, like, the main girl really considers her to be an angel. And I love seeing that unfold and just how that they met. Like, it was a great chapter on friendship and friendship going beyond whatever society says, like, that you can be friends with people because of, like, I'm completely blanking on what I'm trying to say here, of social standards, there are social, just the social division kind of thing. That's not the word I'm looking for either. I can't think of the words, my friends. I can't think of the word. But there's like that division there because there are two separate classes, where she was from a village where nobody really cared for her and she was always alone, and she's sort of with astray as she's sort of been called from other people. But anyway, Mistia, like, looks past that completely. Like, that doesn't even, like, bother her, faze her. She genuinely considers Melo to be a friend. And so I love that chapter of seeing their friendship go past just a servant and a noble. It was really, really special. And Melo really does have a heart for our main girl. And I don't necessarily mean romantically. I mean just, like, that she really loves her and cares for her so much. And she's willing to put her life on the line because Mistia befriended her and just saw her more than just like, this girl is just a pebble in my path, so to speak. Like, it was so good. It was so good. And the art is beautiful. So beautiful. I think I can show this page and it wouldn't be a spoiler, but look at that. That's her and Melo, and this is a very, very, very good scene. It was super duper sweet. I really, really liked it. There was another scene with another character that's very similar to that was just excellent. And I think I should show more of the art because the art was just gorgeous. And I saw that they actually had somebody come in that did the character design. I can talk today. Here's a close-up right here of Raid. Look how cute he is. He is the Sparkling Prince, as they called him. And we've met the Sparkling Prince and the Ladies Man. And then I think this guy is going to be, well, I showed him, I think, this is one dude you sort of meet. His name's Robert. He is one of the targets as well. He's the studious one. I am really excited to read volume 2. Like, I just was really shocked how much I love this, but it was just for where like my life is and how busy it's been. It was just a perfect read. It hit all the spots for me so very much. I loved it. I think I've said that like 3 or 4 times, but I genuinely love this book. I'm going to reread it again at some point and see if it really is in my top 5 favorite reads this year, because last night as I was reading, I was like, this is in my top 5. Like, I just loved it. It I guess went above my expectations of what I thought. I was really hesitant and I was like, I already need to like, I'm probably going to be wanting to ship all the different people, and I didn't feel like that, and I was glad because I confess I am a loyalist when it comes to the romance. That's why I don't love triangles, that's why I don't like love triangles, there we go, because I'm like, when the girl falls for one dude, that's it. You know, I mean, I get sometimes like in shoujo, you have like that first love, and I'm totally cool with that. But then, you know, when the girl's like, I don't know who to go with both guys because they're both, you know, amazing. No, like you stick with one and that's it. But that's just me. I said, I am definitely a loyalist, like in so many different aspects of my life, not just when it comes to fictional couples. Let me know, my friends, if you have read any of the Reincarnated Villainess manga. I know there's a lot out there, and I'm definitely very interested in checking out some more because this was a lot of fun. It wasn't necessarily humorous, but it was sweet. It was like I said, everything that I needed. Also, let me know, do you play Otome games? What Otome games would you recommend? Because I would love to hear your recommendations, because I'm like, oh, I sort of want to go check some out now. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching, friends. Bye!